The Blue Ocean Strategy, a fantastic book that I actually watched a video about yesterday. And I have decided I actually need to read this book because I've known about this book for some time. It is essentially a book about marketing, and I know about the concept contained within it, but I've never physically read the book. So I've decided this is the next book I'm going to download. But essentially, the Blue Ocean Strategy is a concept that I think we can apply in all aspects of our life, not just if you are a business owner. And I wanted to talk about it in today's episode because if you've never heard of it before, this may be the very thing that changes the game for you. Now, the Blue Ocean Strategy essentially focuses on there being two different oceans. You have the red ocean and you have the blue ocean. Now, the red ocean is basically the space where there are lots of competitors and everyone is fighting it out against each other to find their customers and to make money. Now, the reason it's a red ocean is because you're essentially fighting to the death. There is no real point of difference between what you offer and what somebody else offers in terms of products or services. So you're essentially trying to find a way to survive, whether that be you're constantly offering promotions or whether that be that you are trying to cheapen your price or, find a point of difference. But essentially, you are no different to the people that are in the same ocean as you. So it's very difficult to gain any kind of traction and growth when you're in the red ocean. The blue ocean, on the other hand, is that space where you have created something that is really unique, or you are approaching something from a very unique perspective. And so you don't really have a lot of competition, hence the fact that the ocean is blue. And as a result, you tend to see a lot of growth and traction a lot quicker than those people who are fighting it out, trying to be the same as everybody else. Now, the reason why I think this can be so vital to consider in any aspect of life is the fact that sometimes we look at the way successful people do things, whether that be in business or whether that be somebody who has achieved a goal that you want to achieve. And we think that we need to emulate the exact same steps that that person took to achieve that goal, because you've heard the expression that success leaves clues. Now, where I think you have to be careful with this approach is that you can very quickly end up in the red ocean where everybody is doing the same kind of thing in order to achieve the goal or the success that they desire. The blue ocean is where you look at something from a very different perspective. You look at what everybody is doing in the red ocean and you try to find an alternative way for you to launch a product or service, or for you to achieve a particular goal or objective. And you try to come at it from a very different viewpoint. And as a result, you tend to see more growth because you are the point of difference. I think I can probably safely say that we all get a little bit fed up with certain marketing strategies because everybody seems to be the same as everybody else. Now, I liken it a lot to car design. I don't know about you, but I've noticed in recent years how a lot of cars are starting to look very similar to one another, even though they are from different companies. So, for example, Peugeots, some of them resemble a lot like other branded cars, like Opels, for example. And, Audis as well are starting to gain similar shape to other vehicles. It's like they all start to slowly replicate each other in terms of looks, except that they have a different car brand on the front. And so it's this, isn't it? At some point, when you offer the same product as somebody else, you end up trying to compete with them by copying and replicating what they do. But it means that you no longer have that point of difference that made you successful in the first place. Now, I liken this a lot to being on social media. So, for example, I talk about life in Italy. I am not the only content creator out there who talks about life in Italy, but I do think I come at things from a different perspective. I talk about the reality of life in Italy. And I honestly think that is why I have managed to build a steady community. And even though it's like this whole piano, slowly approach, my community is solid. And this is the difference. I have seen other content creators in the similar sector to me stagnate, and they have been at the same kind of subscribers for a very long time. And the reason I think this is because at some point they are being like everybody else and people don't see a point of difference in what they are producing. Whereas with me, I can honestly say that I have seen slow but steady growth. And that is essentially what you want to be aiming for, not stagnation. And so this is why I think you have to approach things differently. And you have to try and find a different way to make what it is you want to do happen. And you can apply this in any aspect of life, whether you want to move to Italy, whether you want to take up a new hobby, whether you want to start your own business, whether you want to find a new job, whatever it may be, you can find a way to make it happen. That doesn't mean that you are fighting in the same space in that red ocean with countless other people. And I think this is just such an important philosophy to remember in life. Like, we do not have to follow the sheep. We can be that person who goes against the grain and goes in a different direction. And I promise you, when you do that, you often see the most success, because those people who follow the sheep and do what everyone in front of them is doing, they are not focused on the bigger picture. And they do not realize that they are not able to separate themselves and build something because they have too many other people around them that are essentially stagnating their own growth. It's an interesting thing. And I think, trying to be different in life takes courage. Trying to do things differently means that you're not necessarily going to get the support from people that you would like. But I think it's important to be like this, because essentially, if you are always waiting to have acceptance from other people, or trying to fit in, or trying to be the same as everybody else, I think you hold yourself back in so many different ways. And I've spoken about this in other episodes before. But essentially, if you are brave enough to do things differently, if you're brave enough to speak up when you need to speak up, you're brave enough to approach things from a different perspective and angle, you're brave enough to, I don't know, create something that hasn't been thought of before, or utilize something in a way that can help you to do things in a completely different way, then I think you give yourself the possibility to build something successful, if it's a business, or to essentially achieve your goal and objective a lot quicker than if you try to be the same as everybody else. I've said in other podcast episodes the fact that we as a society try to fit in. There's that kind of primal instinct to want to belong to something. And I think this is why so many people are afraid to do things differently, because it means that you're going to go against the grain. You're going to do something that other people haven't done before, or you're going to come at things from a very different perspective. And you're not necessarily going to have people patting you on the back and congratulating you. You might even have people ridiculing what it is that you're doing. But essentially, that is exactly what you need to do. And this book is incredible, and I cannot wait to read it and to dive a bit deeper into this philosophy. But red ocean, blue ocean, the next time that you have a big decision that you need to make, or you're trying to grow, or you're trying to gain traction in whatever it is that you're doing, you want to achieve an objective, whatever it may be, it really doesn't have to be connected solely to business. I want you to think about these two oceans. Are you in the red ocean? Are you competing with lots of other people without any real point of difference? And you're trying to be the same as them. But of course, in that ocean, you are essentially just constantly fighting and you're not able to grow. Or are you in the blue ocean, where you're coming at things from a different angle and you are essentially therefore able to grow and to be successful at what it is that you want to do? Lean towards the blue ocean. There are too many people in the red ocean, and I kind of feel it's time sometimes to lean more into the unknown and into the uncertainty, and actually create something or achieve something that otherwise you may not have done. I will see you in the next episode.